Today, we're going to go through the 12-question business plan. These 12 questions are designed to pull the information out of your brain and out of your heart so we can get clear on what exactly you are building. It's important to know that this plan will change. This is not going to be the final version. We just need to worry about right now. What are we building right now? Because when we're clear about what we're doing, we can focus. And focus leads to action, and action leads to results. So let's get clear about what we're building together. Underneath this video, you'll find a link to get these business plan templates. You'll see two of them pulled up on the screen right here. The one on the left is for Operator Academy, and the one on the right is for Scorch Marker. The one on the right is the template. The one on the right is the one that I want you to focus on. But if you want a second example, the Operator Academy Vision and Plan will do that for you. I have them both pulled up because I want you to see the different ways that I approach the same question. Now, the words might be different in terms of the question, but the meaning is the same. So what do I mean by the question and the words? Well, what you'll see are a series of questions. In fact, after you put your company name here in the top, I want you to start answering each one of these questions in order, one by one. The first question is, why does your business exist? I can tell you that Scorch Marker exists to help makers feel seen and appreciated. Like, we make cool stuff that makes crafting easier, and we celebrate those people that make things with our things. We exist to make people feel good. These are all different ways of saying the same thing. If you look at Operator Academy, we help ecom brand owners increase their sales from $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month by teaching them how to become highly effective operators. And that's good right there, but I wanted to go a little bit further and expand on that, so I did. That point is really important because you can be as detailed or as concise as you want with this exercise. But for now, just focus on keeping it simple. Before we move on, I want you to understand that this first question here is the sentence that you will say to somebody when you're at a holiday party and you have a friend that you haven't seen in years and they're asking you about your work and what you do. Like, oh, you own a business? What does your business do? We make innovative craft supplies. We invent stuff that makes crafting easier, and then when people make stuff with our crafts, we celebrate them and it makes them feel good. That's what my business does. That's why we exist. Oh, I'm so glad you asked. I specialize in helping people that sell products go from $10,000 to $100,000 a month in sales. Like, that's my wheelhouse. It's what I'm good at, and that's what I build a business around. This is how it should sound when you're done. You should be able to articulate it to somebody when they ask what your business does. Let's go down to the second question. What are the problems that your business solves? I'll give you an example. Wood burning is challenging. Wood burning is intimidating. Wood burning is expensive. Wood burning takes a lot of time to learn. These are all problems. Here's some more. There's a lack of community in this space. It's hard to know who to trust. Everything that we see out there in stores is unhealthy and not good for you. Problems. Tell me about the problems that your business will fix. What are the problems that your customer has? List them out right here for me. And when you're done, we'll move on to the next one. How does your business solve these problems? Like, what do you do for them? How do you fix it? In Operator Academy, we take them through a tailored curriculum and we teach them and help them implement 10 pillars. Those 10 pillars are the 10 things that I believe you must master in order to get to $1 million a year in sales. For Scorch Marker, we invented a product that allows you to draw on wood, heat it up, and burn your design into the wood. It solves the difficulty, the time, and the intimidation factor of the problem. Be as detailed as you like. I think it's important to really nail this one. What's the unique solution that you provide? Is it community? Is it a healthier alternative? Is it accountability? Is it a product? A newer version of X, Y, or Z? Two examples here. One is long, one is short. Do what feels right. The next thing that we're going to do is my favorite, and that's describing the person that has the problems you are solving. Who's got these problems that you have a solution for? Who's got these problems that you can solve? What do they look like? Give them a name. Give them an age. Tell me about them. When you know exactly who you're serving, we can find them. We can make content for them. We can target them. We can serve them with things that help them. We can create groups for them. We can get their attention. You could take these write-ups and give them to a marketing agency and they'd say, oh, yep, I can find this person. Yeah, because it's clear, it's descriptive, and it goes over the demographics and psychographics. If you have the examples pulled up and you read through them, you'll see that I go into detail about who these people are. For Scorch Marker, it's Pinterest Polly. I've gone into excruciating detail about who Pinterest Polly is and what I believe to be true about her. I figured this out by talking to my customers, asking them questions and learning about them and who they are. This is Drew and this is Leah. And then over here we have Pinterest Polly. These are my customers. This is the people that I serve. I challenge you to get as clear and descriptive as you possibly can with this. Give me a name, an age, a location, what they do for work. Do they have kids? Do they have pets? What kind of house do they live in? What do they do at nighttime? What do they eat? Do they wake up early? Do they wake up late? Do they go to church? Talk to me about their interests. What social media do they scroll? What are they using on their phone at nighttime before they go to bed? How do they communicate with other people? All of these things are important. All of these things will help you to get a better understanding of who your person is. And when you deeply understand who your person is, you can serve them. And by serve them, I mean you can make content for them. You can give them information and tools that helps them. But most importantly, you can attract them. Please take your time with this one. It's very important. The next thing we're going to talk about is competitors. Who else is serving your customer in the same way? I want specific names of businesses or people. We can learn from them. We can look at their 1-star reviews. We can look at their 5-star reviews. We can see where they failed and dropped the ball, and we can make sure we never do that. We can also look at where they're excelling, and we can do our own version of that. We can look at how they advertise, how they create content, how they speak, their messaging, their fonts, their website. We can learn so much. I'm not saying we're copying anyone. I'm saying we're learning from them. We're taking what they've done, and then we're putting our own unique thumbprint on it to serve our customer. The pie is ever increasing. There's plenty of business to go around, and it's always growing. I would encourage you to come up with at least 3 competitors. I've got a couple for Scorch Marker in a couple different areas, and then I've got a couple for Operator Academy. Each one of these competitors I have studied and learned from. Each one of these competitors has taught me something. Please don't just say, everyone in the arts and crafts niche, all online business coaches. No, those aren't your competitors. That doesn't do anything to serve us. Do the work. Figure out who these people are. Then we can learn from them. All right, now we're getting into the fun stuff. How are you going to make money? How's it going to work? Just literally tell me specifically how we're going to make money. For Scorch Marker, we make money through retail stores and Amazon. That's our focus. Operator Academy has a couple different ways of earning, depending on where the customer is in the funnel. I mean, if they're just watching YouTube videos, it's going to be for AdSense and maybe affiliate revenue. But if they're working with us in our program, they're paying us directly through Samcart. It's literally how we're collecting the dollars. How does your customer pay you for the solution that solves their problem? What's it look like? Is it TikTok Shop? Is it Amazon? Is it Facebook Marketplace? Is it going to be retail stores and brick and mortar? Is it going to be your website, a Shopify store? Maybe it's WooCommerce. Maybe it's a subscription program. Doesn't have to be crazy. Doesn't have to be complicated. Just be very direct with it. What's it look like? How are you going to get the attention of your customer? That's what this next section is all about. But on the left, you'll see it referred to as marketing activities because they are one and the same. There are 2 ways to get attention. You can earn it or you can pay for it. I want you to talk about how you're going to earn it and how you're going to pay for it when it comes to marketing activities. Now, please don't just say like, oh, I'm going to have an organic presence on all social media. It's like, no, you're not. It's too hard. It's too much work. And if you are like me and you are the owner operator wearing all of the hats, you don't have enough time to do all of the social medias. You don't have enough time to do Google ads and Facebook ads and blog posts and Pinterest and make a video on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. Like, you just don't. I want you to be choosy. I want you to pick one. Pick a focus. If there's anything that I've learned after having owned an e-commerce brand since 2018, when I started selling products online, it's that every time I split my attention, the quality of the output and the results goes way down. Every time I add in a new platform, another place to cross-post, another channel, my success goes down. What you focus on increases. And I really want to encourage you to choose one focus. Is it going to be just Facebook ads for paid and then Facebook Reels for organic? Great. That can totally work. There's enough people on Facebook to where you could build a 9-figure business. You could just use Facebook ads for paid and then only create on TikTok. It could work. You could just do podcasts for organic. And then you can amplify the messages in your podcast on podcasts. I really believe that goodwill is the same thing as brand. And if you put enough goodwill out into the world, it will come back to you. So I've given you a couple examples here of how we're going to market for Operator Academy using an organic first approach. And then I've given you some examples of how we market for Scorch Marker. We make a lot of content. In my opinion, organic content is king. Just make videos and make a lot of them. Let us in. Let us get to know you as a human. It's free and it's infinitely scalable. Not only that, but once you discover winning creative, you can then amplify it using paid channels. But if you don't create content, you will never have anything to amplify in the first place. So please put down your organic attention method and your paid attention method. We can always add more later, but I found that focusing on one in the beginning, there's so much more. Let's talk about expenses. This section is here so that you don't run into surprises. I was very surprised at how much some of the things were going to cost, but it wasn't until after I started, and I was surprised because I hadn't done my homework. This section is here for you to do a little bit of that homework. Operator Academy on the left, you'll see we planned it all out. What equipment, what services, what software, like what's the operational stuff that we're gonna need to make our first sale? And we listed it, both in a one-time expense and a monthly expense, because we have two types of expenses in our business, the one-time expenses and the recurring ones. Scorch markers is much simpler. I had no idea where to start or what I was doing in the beginning, so I wrote down the best of what I was able to research. And I left that in there so you could see where I started. It's very basic. Operator Academy is a much better version. If you don't know how much something costs, Google it. Just write it down. Just get something in there so you aren't surprised after you start. So this way you know, like, man, I'm gonna need a couple $1,000 to get this product made and get my listing up. I need you to be thinking about how much money this is gonna cost you so it doesn't sink you before you have had a chance to make a bunch of money and really have this business stand on its own. Monthly expenses and one-time expenses. Do your best. All right, let's talk about the team. Who do you need to make this business real? Who do you need to get to your first sale? And who do you need after that when you want to grow? That's how I look at it, to start and to grow, to get to my first sale, to double the business. What needs to be true? More specifically, who do you need? Now, a lot of the hats are going to be worn by you. You're going to be all of these things, but eventually you'll get to a point where you're not all of these things. And I want you to be thinking about that ahead of time before it's too late and you need to make the hire. If you don't know who you're eventually going to end up needing, that's okay. Don't get stuck on it. Just do your best. This one's actually pretty cool. It used to say milestones and goals like you see over here on the Operator Academy side, but I've recently changed this to be write down 3 things you want to happen for your business in the next year. Just focus on that. 3 things. Now I've updated these for Scorch Marker. In Q4, I'd like to hit $300,000 in sales for 1 month. Ideally, November or December this year. I think we can do it. We did about 250 a month last year in Q4. I think we can hit 300 this year. That would be a huge win. It would be amazing to get Maker's Magic into retail stores alongside our Scorch markers. Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michael's. The third goal, if we can maintain a 10% profit margin on the business throughout the entire year, I'll take it. When we take a look over here at Operator Academy, we've got a few additional milestones and goals written down. Some are in regards to monthly recurring revenue. Some are about testimonials or graduates or, the number of memberships that we have in the accelerator. It's all fair game. But at the very minimum, you must write down 3 things that you want to see happen with your business this year. All right, let's talk about ownership. This section is going to be really simple for most of us. It is for me. I own all the business. Technically, it's owned by my holding company, which is an LLC S-Corp. And that's the business that collects all my money and then pays me a salary. So I can avoid self-employment tax. I go through all of this in detail in the business fundamentals section inside our membership. So if that perks your ears up, I got you. But that's a discussion for another time. Today, I want to focus on how much of this company you own. Do you have partners or do you own it all yourself? Is it you and your wife or is it just you? Who else has a piece of this company? Just keep it simple. It might just be one sentence. I own 100% of the company. Cool, done. I just want clarity on who the owners are in the business. And so do investors, and so do bankers, and so do employees, and so do partners. We all want to know who's got what. This is where you'll put that down. Last but not least, let's talk about your exit strategy. What's the end game look like for this business? What's the plan? What happens when you reach your goals? Most of us are going to set bigger goals, and we're going to hit those. What happens when we're ready to retire and we don't want to work anymore? What happens during a life event that forces us to spend less time in the business? What's going to happen in 30 years, 10 years, 15 years? I'm like, I don't know. These are all rhetorical questions, but they're things that I want you to think about. Typically, a couple things can happen with the business. You can just keep building it and growing it and operating it. You can build it in a way where you remove yourself from the business so that it exists and you are only an owner. And then you can keep it as a cash generating asset. You could even sell the business. We'll build it in a slightly different way, but it's 100% doable as well. Operator Academy's end game, it's a long play. It's a 50-year play. Now, Scorch Marker is a little bit shorter, but regardless, I'm building these businesses so that I can retain ownership and have the opportunity vehicles to create wealth for my family And by wealth, I don't mean just money. I mean opportunities and jobs and purpose and responsibility. All of the things that come along with owning a business. It doesn't have to be complicated if you don't want to. You can just say, I don't have any plans to sell the business. I just want to grow it to a point where it's making me $100,000 a year or $100,000 a month or $100,000 a week. And then I'll figure it out then. Or eventually I'll sell the business, but for now I'm focused on growing it. When I'm ready to retire, I'm going to sell my book of business to my competitors. Tell me what the end game is. And if you don't know what the end game is, that is okay too. I just want you to think about it. And that's it. When you can answer these 12 questions, you have a plan. You have an idea of what you're building and why you're building it. And I know it's tedious, and I know not a lot of people are going to look at it, but you'll know. You'll know here and you'll know here. You'll understand the problem that you're solving and what to focus on and how you're making money. You'll have clarity around this stuff. And whenever anyone asks, you can show it to them. And because it's documented and written down, it's real. This is a real business plan because it's on paper. It's not a real business plan if it's in your head. You complete this exercise and you're ahead of 90% of entrepreneurs out there. If you want feedback on this plan, you can submit it in the business plan feedback section inside the membership. All of our members get the opportunity to submit these, and I'll take a look at every single one of them. I'll give you my direct feedback. Sometimes it's a Loom video, sometimes it's text, sometimes it's a voice note, but I will give feedback to every single one that submits it. If you're not a member and you want access to this, consider checking out our membership. It's great, honestly. Centered around e-commerce. I would be honored to have you, and I would love to share more information with you. All you have to do is reach out. I'm proud of you for watching this entire video and paying attention to the things that you need to do to get clear on what you're building. I'm really quite excited to see what comes out of this, and I cannot wait to review your business plan.